Welcome to Literary License Podcast retrospective of Batman, the animated series, and the new adventures of Batman and Robin, where we explore 4 episodes from the classic 90s television show.
Welcome to Literary License Podcast. In this Batman week, we'll be discussing 4 episodes of Batman. And before we get started, let's find out who's with us. We got Vicky Ray with us. Hello, Vicky.
Hi, guys.
And Sean Stefan with us. Hello, Sean.
Hello, everyone.
And unfortunately, Joe won't be with us due to work commitments, but we will see him next week. And I'm your host, Keith Shago. And before we get started, let's find out what we've been up to. Starting with you, Vicky. What have you been up to since last time we saw you?
What have I been doing? Oh, we had soccer stuff going on last weekend. That's why I didn't see you. That was a hell of a season. Everybody was like corn-fed on the other team last weekend. But, oh, well, we'll get them next year. Just hanging out. I got a bunch of stuff going on project-wise, but numerous to talk about. But anyway, I did get a chance to watch that god-awful movie you suggest. And you know what? I've suggested that god-awful movie, Keith, to a lot of other people. I watched this movie called Swallowed.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, my God. I have been traumatized for 2 weeks ever since I saw that movie. It was really good. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, I think I watched that thing with my legs closed towards the end because it just was such a painful thing to watch. It was really quite well done. I mean, they show you just enough without showing you enough. You know what I mean?
But I was shocked at Mark Patton, how old he looks. He's from Friday, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He's the gay.
Oh, that's right. Shit, that's right. Yeah, you're right. It was really an interesting. I told my daughter wanted me to give her some ideas. I sent that one to Matthew because Matthew always sends me movies that are like really unsteady like that. So he hasn't said if he watched it or not though. But what else did I watch? I watched The Nun too. I went to Catholic school, so of course it scared the beheebies out of me. I watched this really stupid movie last night just because I was bored and really high. It was called Bong of the Dead.
Oh, God. That takes me back to when I worked in a video store. I remember seeing that on the shelf when it first came out.
You know what? It was actually okay. I actually liked some of the characters. Then again, I was high as Spaceballs. But it was really worth watching. I thought it was really funny. And I finally got a couple weeks ago to watch Talk to Me. Don't know if any of y'all watched it yet, but it was pretty good too. Of course, you know, if you have I guess it was a hand of a dead something or other. A psychic. It was a psychic's hand. I guess if you hold it and you say, talk to me, it brings out whatever's in the room. And it was really good. I highly recommend it. And
Joe was bringing that one up to me. He said that was pretty good. The Talk to Me.
Yeah, watch it. And so I like some. Smile was pretty good too. But other than that, we're just hanging out. It's that time of year. We went traveling last month, so we're just trying to get some stuff done now, since we didn't get it done last time. But we're just chilling out, getting ready for Turkey Day and the holiday season. What about y'all?
I don't know. What have you been up to, Sean?
I have. I've been working, and I've been mainly in this weird RoboCop mood the last month. There was this documentary that came out, a 4-hour RoboCop documentary. So
Really?
Yeah, it's called RoboDoc. It's apparently done through Screambox. It's 4 parts, and it's over 4 hours long. They break. It's a fascinating documentary, but they give you everything. They got pretty much all the actors. All the living actors, unfortunately, Miguel Ferrer and a few others have passed on. You have Miguel Verhoeven, and they break down every scene, every detail of the suit, every memory that every producer ever had. It's a fascinating.
I love RoboCop movies. I love all that shit. I like Judge Dredd. I like it all.
I was raised I grew up in the Reagan era 80s where violence was kind of marketed mass to children, and it was glorious. It's one of those things where whenever I went and saw an action movie, it would always be everything Arnold is doing is fine. But the second you see a nipple, hand over the eyes.
Yeah.
Because that will traumatize the child. because that's
I mean,
the way that's America.
I'm still that way. That is so ingrained in me. It's just sort of like if there's a movie, like I was telling the boys about this all the time. Every time I turn on something with John Cena, he's fucking something. And I think it's a family-oriented kid flick, but there's Asher. It's like, oh my God. So what does Scott do? He puts on the same scene by accident, thinking it's okay to watch. And it's always John Cena. So you just never know. But I mean, I just love all that stuff, though. I mean, to this day, I'm more upset about the sex being seen than I am any of the violence.
Well, nowadays, like
weird.
Sex is so toned down in movies because to the point that it's also, I mean, I keep reading articles about how millennials and zennials and Gen Z they all want platonic friendships more in movies than less sexual relationships. They want to see less sex.
Sex doesn't sell anymore.
It doesn't sell anymore, which is completely opposite of everything I was ever brought up on. So it's just
definitely changed.
It's weird.
Well, to be honest, I mean, sex is it's at the end of our keyboards now.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, you can get it anytime you want. So yeah,
I can get it going through my Twitter feed.
No shit. Yeah. You know what I was thinking about? I think it was called, what do you call that show? The documentary with something about movies that have been, not scarred movies, something movies where something bad happens and all of them, like Poltergeist or whatever.
Yeah. Cursed films. Probably like Cursed films.
Cursed films. Yeah, I watched one about a Cannibal Holocaust the other day ago.
Oh, God.
And I knew they had issues about Cannibal Holocaust, but I didn't know
issues.
Fucking hated the director who forced all the rape scenes.
Guys, come out of hiding. I'm on trial for murder.
You know, where he had to go on trial because they thought they did all, and all this stuff happened. You know, he had to prove that these actors were still alive. And the actors actually killed the animals. Now, see, I knew that they were actually killing the animals, but I thought it was the natives in the movie that were killing the animals, and not the white dudes killing the turtle.
No,
I mean, I've only watched that once. You know, I laugh about the music constantly still because the musical score is actually kind of cool. But
I own the score and I play it regularly. It's
do kind you? Oh my God! It's be funny taking a shower to Cannibal Holocaust.
It is one of the most relaxing scores I've ever. It's beautiful. It's a great
musical score. I know that irony is ironic. I know.
I believe it's Riz Ortolani. I believe it composed it. But yeah, it's.
And they went into Cannibal Ferox and just all that shit that went down. But I mean, that was Sex City back then. People were loving it though.
I mean, I'm kind of wondering is the reason why sex doesn't sell like it used to is because porn's very easy. But I think also it's like, if you look at all our TV shows now anyway, I mean, they're quite sexually explicit anyway. I mean, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad.
Game of Thrones was all
and Netflix and all that other stuff. And even if you watch like Spanish shows like Elite, I mean, those kids are having sex with everyone. You're just kind of like,
what's that? Spain?
Elite. No, Elite, which is on Netflix. Or Money Heist, or any show that you see on Netflix is, has all that at your fingertips.
Yeah.
But if you notice, what you don't have at your fingertips anymore is violence. Because even when you look at the Blumhouse films, I mean, they're very mild.
Yeah. They toned them down quite a bit. I do agree with that.
I mean, even The Purge is toned down. Okay, there's a lot of suggestive violence, but there's not what we grew up with. Yeah. There's no Friday the 13th violence or Halloween violence or Evil Dead violence or Brain Dead or anything like that. So when you do, so maybe that's the reason why people are hungering for that more now, because it's not easy accessible.
Yeah.
That is well, certainly Gen V and the boys, which I cannot wait for that next season to come out, is full of violence, and it's just funny as fuck.
There are a few random ones in there. The Gen V, the boys, Peacemaker. You do find those
Peacemaker's good. Yeah.
I love Peacemaker, but I love everything James Gunn.
Even the Titans has some of the.
I still gotta finish. I gotta start
in the Titans is like, I mean, even when you see Nightwing like rubbing that guy's face against the brick wall as if it's sandpaper. Like in your first time you see it, you're like, what? I wasn't expecting that sort of thing. So maybe that's the reason why. I mean, even when I saw Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, that should have been a rated G film. I mean, it's so
I heard it was very toned down. I haven't watched it
was
yet. I know it's on
extremely toned
Peacock.
down. I watched Willy's Wonderland, and it was extremely toned down from Willy's.
Well, Willy Wonderland for me was a better film. So
yeah, everything I've heard
was a better film too. But
Yeah.
I can't let Asher watch Willy's Wonderland, so it was Five Nights at Freddy's.
So maybe that's what it is. I mean, because I mean, even when you look at The Nun, or even I guess Scream kind of pushes the violence a little bit, but most things I think a lot
I was gonna say Chucky has been.
What?
In terms of television, Chucky is still as brutally violent as anything I've seen. I mean, people are getting cut in half.
No, they haven't toned that down at all.
No, and there is a few horror gems out there. In terms of cinema, yeah, it is definitely. But I think that's also a reaction to everything that's going on in the real world with mass shootings, and I think it's just
I think Columbine had a lot to answer for when it came down, because like, oh my God, our kids watching, our kids are turning to violence because they're seeing violence, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but they've been blaming violence on video games. And I really, honestly, I mean, you guys play video games and you don't look like serial killers to me.
The reason I watched the RoboCop documentary to begin with is because there is a new RoboCop game that came out, and they brought back Peter Weller for the whole thing, and I've been playing that. I just beat the game. It's fantastic. At no point do I want to, become a cop and start, shooting up drug dealers in old Detroit. At no point do I want to do that. It doesn't have any influence on me. It's a fun little escapism.
There's always somebody out there, their wheels are a little twisted.
That's mental illness, and
well, I blame parents, so
that too.
I would too.
I blame as soon as government started parenting their children, parenting other people's children. That's when it kind of all started. So
the government likes to be our daddy.
But with the RoboCop one, does it also cover the remake?
It covers mainly everything about the first movie. When they get to the sequels, it's kind of glossed over in 5 minutes.
Like it goes all the way back to the very first.
Yeah, it's only the first one mainly. That's the detail. Each part is about an hour and a half long.
Does it cover all the movies?
Mainly only the first one. They talk just the first one. They talk about the TV show. They talk about the other movies, and they talk about how they're a little bit lesser than before. They gloss over the remake. It's one of those things where this is mainly just
watch it.
The first one. It's on. It's available via Screambox.
Oh, it's on Screambox. Okay,
it's on Screambox. I know that much. But yeah, it just came out on Blu-ray, and I just finished Loki, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Watching it. Which season did you start?
So, I finished season 2. It just ended last night. I won't spoil anything because it's still fresh, and I have at least a 2-week rule when it comes to spoilers.
I just love that freaking actor. I cannot do any wrong.
I don't know if Tom Hiddleston is the reason that I love this show so much.
I do. I don't know why he's fun to watch.
But it is one of the true diamonds in this phase of Marvel. It is a fantastic show. It's well acted. I care about these characters. And I don't think there's going to be a season 3. It has an actual ending, and the writers are saying, no, we composed this as if 2 halves of a book. First season was the first half. Now we've closed the book.
I haven't seen the second season yet. Oh, that makes me sick of that. I really love it.
It's good. I highly recommend it. And it's weird because we were just talking about violence and the lack of violence, and it seems like Marvel is doubling down. They released the trailer for Echo, and it's turned everybody's heads. Everybody's losing their mind over it because Wilson Fisk has a bloody fist, and it's actual blood. So everybody's losing their fucking mind because it's not black or blurred out blood in a trailer. It's actual blood, and somebody gets point blank shot right in the head. And I'm like, oh, so it's TVMA. Okay.
Right.
And I think that's what they're gonna, maybe we got R-rated now. We're gonna move up. We're gonna be more mature. We've only been doing this for 17 years.
Marvel's been so glutted lately. I sometimes another movie. And I kind of gave up on Marvel. I hate to say that. I love all my heroes.
I kind of have to. My thing is, Loki was solid, but it had an actual ending. Echo, I'm going to check out for two reasons. One, my buddy, he worked on it. He said, and he told me we're doing some stuff here that you're going to really dig. If you like Daredevil season 3, we got a lot of the people.
Oh, really?
It's mainly about the character from Hawkeye. Her name was Echo, and she was kind of a secondary character, is kind of the villain, and her interactions with the Kingpin, and it takes place, I think, during the blip. When does
it start?
January. It's going to be all put up at once. All dropped at once.
Make us wait.
Yeah, it's not going to make us wait all at once. I think like 4 episodes all at once on both Hulu and Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's a different. They're going to call it. They've redubbed it a MCU Spotlight or a Marvel Spotlight. It's their new way to get around. Hey, this is maybe not part of the overall story, but maybe we'll introduce some characters. We'll do some things. We'll kind of tell our own thing with these characters and not tie it into the overall picture.
Not Marvel, but did you guys see that? I don't know if you guys are Witcher fans. I was a Witcher fan, but I guess that Cabell's they're changing him out with
with the Hemsworth. Yeah, one of the Hemsworths.
Yeah. Well, he's not too bad, not too hard on the eye either. So I mean, we'll probably have to give it a whirl. Let's see I really am kind of mad that I don't know why he left. I didn't watch
There were creative issues from day one.
He wasn't happy with it.
Well, he's not just playing. He is a huge fan of the lore. He loves The Witcher. He loves the books and everything. So there was constant.
I was so surprised he left.
There were constant struggles on set, if the reports are accurate, that that Geralt wouldn't do this.
Right.
He wouldn't do that. It's a fiction. He wouldn't do this. And he was constantly at odds with the writers who wanted to take it in a different direction. And he kept on trying to, no, we're holding true to this character.
But he did so good at it.
And that's the reason why he was fantastic. He's a great actor. I like Henry Cavill.
He is a great actor. I'm totally impressed with everything he does.
It's just, I think it got to the point where the showrunner and the writers, they have their own vision.
Well, we'll see what happens. I bet you don't make it without him.
It's people are already
hasn't been renewed for another season.
Yeah, the people are already singing or ringing the death bell for it.
Yeah, people are already not happy. Other than that, what have you been up to? We sidetracked you, Sean. I'm sorry.
No worries. Aside from that, just Loki was good, and it made me think about how they also announced next year that Marvel is only going to do one movie. They are only releasing Deadpool 3.
Really?
Apparently, it did not. Captain America, which is finished, didn't test well, so they're going to be reshooting it. There was a lot.
Great though.
That's the thing. Well, Deadpool is good, but the problem is they have to finish shooting it. The strike has screwed up everything. Thankfully, the strike is over.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting about that because I've just been moving right along watching old shit for the last 5 months.
They've gotten to the point. They're kind of going over all the movies right now, and they're realizing, okay, what can we release? What can we put out now that everything's done? Warner Brothers just announced that they're canceling their completed Coyote versus Acme movie, which I've wanted to see this movie since it was announced, and I'm so pissed at them for shoving it in the vault with Batgirl. It was basically Wile E. Coyote sues the Acme company for all their defective products.
That would be great.
That sounds great. As a Looney Tunes, brilliant idea. And like John Cena was going to play the head of Acme or something like that.
Oh my God, that would be so fucking great. Seriously?
It's completely filmed. All the live action stuff is done. Zaslav said, no, we're not going to release it. It's going to be, they're doing a Batgirl. They're shoving it in the vault.
What a waste. I mean, I want to see Batgirl too, but I mean, that would be really...
this one speaks to my childhood. The kid who grew up watching Roadrunner cartoons. I'm like, yes,
I know it. I mean,
I want Coyote to have his day. Come on.
I mean, well, look at Roger Rabbit. Everybody loved who bring Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
I mean, give us older people some fun.
The problem is they only want to focus on theatrical. This seems to be the new mantra in Hollywood. We only want to focus on theatrical releases that are guaranteed money. Disney looks at it as the most important movie that they have for probably the next 5 years.
What, Deadpool?
Deadpool. Because they're not releasing any Marvel movies next year. It's their first R-rated release. It's bringing back Hugh Jackman. And they're taking over this franchise from Fox, where they're going to be pretty much incorporating all the Fox stuff and bringing it into the Marvel.
Oh, shit.
and it's everything that's come out from this movie that is leaked, either intentionally for press or otherwise, it makes it seem like, okay, this is the big deal that will kind of merge everything together until we get to the Avengers movies. But the problem is, with everything going on with Jonathan Majors, with the strike and all that, everybody's focus on it is on everything else. What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with this? And then this past year, with the exception of Guardians, all the movies have sucked. All of the movies have been bad. And
all the Eternals and stuff like that.
The Eternals it's not bad. It's just boring. It's one of
it's breathtaking. It's well filmed. It's beautiful. The actors look great, but God damn it.
I like it, but I can acknowledge if you're going in to watch a comic book movie with your kids, the kids are going to be bored out of their minds.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but don't you think that comic strip movies have been a big thing for the last 10 years?
Yeah.
Longer. Yes, but absolutely.
And don't you think that normally what sets the trends of what is big is the younger viewership. And the thing is, the younger generation are going to look for their own thing. So it might be the death of comic book movies. Not that, I know that they're not performing like they could.
Well, even The Walking Dead.
But that was 2010 to 2020. We're in 2020, and if you look at trends, let's take the horror trend of the 80s. That started bubbling up underneath everything, and then by 1983, that's when it started taking off, whatever that trend's going to be. Same thing with the 99. By 93, the next trend takes off by 2003.
Somebody brought up, I forget where I read it, but somebody brought up Star Wars, and it was only a 6-year thing if you think about it, from 77 to 83, and then you had residual years of everybody loving it and talking about it, specials, watching the movies, get the rise of VHS and the accessibility of it. I mean, it was sold at I believe Lucasfilm were selling it at McDonald's at one point. So everybody got a chance to watch them. Then in the 90s, when it faded, they transitioned to the books and the audio tapes and the games. And it wasn't until they released the special edition that everyone said, hey, maybe we can get more out of this. Yeah. But it was really only 6 years, maybe 8 years that Star Wars was at its peak. Marvel is running on 15. It's running on empty. I mean, at this point.
But I mean, you had but during Star Wars, not just Star Wars, you had a lot of space operas going on at that time as well. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can't do space operas. Well, I mean, and the thing that kind of kept the space opera there kind of really was the Alien franchise kind of kept it. We're still in
Star
space,
Trek too. The Star Trek films as well, but to some extent. But absolutely, aliens.
But Star Trek dealt with nostalgia. The Star Wars, when that started making its rerun again, then again, that was nostalgia. That was nostalgia of all these nerdy kids from the 70s now taking their kids to the movies in the 90s, going to see the Star Wars.
And their nerdy grandmothers, too. Don't forget us nerdy grandparents.
But, and so that's what kind of started that thing. But the problem basically is that now with mass production situations, and then, these kids are now teenagers that their parents were taking them to the new Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
The kids don't want to go with their parents anymore. That's probably the reason why they're not doing as well as they did. And that's probably the reason why some of the Star Wars stuff on telly is probably doing a bit better, because the people who are big Star Wars fans don't have to leave their armchair, and they don't have to worry about taking their kids to them because their kids are watching something else in another room.
Yeah. Well, everything streams immediately, it seems, these days.
When I'm done with the podcast, I'm going to be watching that new David Fincher movie on Netflix.
Which one?
The Killer. It's basically I've been joking. It's David Fincher's version of Hitman, the video game. He's doing
I didn't see that when I was cruising through Netflix. I didn't even see that one.
Fassbender plays a contract killer. From what I understand, it's very clinical. It's just him going up, showing up, doing his job, moving on to the next one. And no, he lives by a code. It's that same old song and dance that has been done with every single Hitman movie, but it's with a David Fincher touch. So,
shit.
I'm fascinated.
I didn't even see that. Was it just released or something on Netflix?
It was in theaters briefly, and it comes out today on Netflix. It's one of those movies that limited theatrical release for award season.
I was really surprised to see Five Nights at Freddy's just go right to Peacock.
That one blew my mind too. I figured that was going to be in theaters, but I guess maybe everyone says it's not that great a movie, so maybe they realized, maybe we can milk another 50,000 people.
The Last Voyage of the Demeter, still $20. 5 months later, I want to watch it, but I am not paying $20 for it.
I do want to check it out.
I think that they weren't expecting it to do as well. I think that as well. I mean, if they're gonna bring something to streaming, and it goes that quickly, it's because they don't think it's gonna do that.
Yeah,
well.
But they have a bunch of 11 and 12-year-olds that would have gone gladly, dragging their parents to the movies to see that, because that's all my grandson's class was talking about was That's their thing. Five Nights at Freddy's. They love it. They all loved it. You know, I mean, you just got to depend on how old you are. I mean, I
didn't like the film at all. I thought the film was stupid. I thought it was one of the stupidest.
I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty good. Creepy fucking large puppet dolls like Chuck E. Cheese's. I might never go in Chuck E. fucking Cheese anymore after watching Willy's Wonderland and that one.
That's Charles. I got an email the other day, a junk email in my spam from Charles E. Fromage. So
really?
I think yes, exactly. That's how Chuck E. Cheese is presenting their ads.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah. Cleaning out my spam, I'm just like, what is it? Charles E. Fromage. I'm like, what the hell?
I
didn't know they were doing that. How funny.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when I went to go see it, there's so much in it that when you look at it, and there's none of it makes sense. There's like Willy's Wonderland makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't speak, there's no
thin, but it makes sense. Yeah.
It makes sense. And this one is like, there's no reason why this is going on. And when you find out the reason, and I won't give any spoiler alerts, but when you find out the reason and the female cop's role and stuff like this, you're just like, this is fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, it did get kind of dumb.
I did, but we got to see Mary Stuart Masterson again, which I was excited about.
I know, and she was so good at her part, though. I mean, she was such a nasty.
Mary Stuart Masterson, that's a name that I haven't heard in God.
Well, I had to keep looking because I know her. I know her. And then, I know who this is. You know, I haven't seen her in anything in eons.
And I love everything she's done, whether it's fried tomatoes or some kind of wonderful or Benny and June. And so
I love Benny and June. That was such a good movie.
Stepford Wives. She's in that because her father directed it, so she's a little girl in it.
Oh, okay.
In the original Stepford Wives. So
God, how old is she now? She's got to be our age. Easy.
106. I don't know.
Yeah, she's definitely your age.
Yeah, she's got to be about late 50s, early 60s coming up.
Gotta be. Wasn't she in that movie with Sean Penn and
yeah, that Close Range?
At Close Range. I don't know why I love that movie. I just do. And I don't really like Sean Penn much because every time he's on an interview, it's just like, God, thank God he's a good actor. It's because every time he opens his mouth, I don't get it. But I actually like that movie. I do. I like a lot of his movies, actually.
Sean Penn?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, what was the last movie I saw with him?
He was okay till he married Madonna, and he hasn't been normal ever since. Blame it on her.
I think that I watched The Game. That was actually the last movie I saw with him recently. The Game with him and Michael Douglas.
He was in another movie. They were in Vietnam. He was horrible in it. And I think, oh God, why can't I played in Back to the Future?
Leah Thompson?
No, main character.
Michael J. Fox?
Michael J. Fox was
Casualties of War you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What was it? Casualties of War? Is that what it was? That was pretty intense flick, too. I definitely need more coffee today. It's 1 o'clock. I need more coffee. I'm just on the top of my game today.
But other than that, I would say play the RoboCop video game. It's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
I have to make sure. Tell my grandson that. I suck at video games.
That's on my list at the moment. I'm replaying Kingdom Hearts at the moment, so I've just done all of them. I'm doing the last game now. I've just done even the side games, so I've kind of gotten into that. I didn't realize that what's his name from Lord of the Rings and Dracula, Christopher Lee does the voices in Kingdom Hearts on the video game.
Oh wow. That is great. That is.
Yeah. I mean, they have all the original Disney voice actors anyway, doing You got Robin Williams doing the genie at that time. I mean,
So are they incorporating audio clips from the films?
No, they all came in and recorded them separate. And then they had like Billy in the first one. Billy Zane plays the main bad character. But you got like Haley Joel Osment doing Sora all the way through. So
wow.
And then you have Hayden, save the cheerleader from Heroes. I can't pronounce her last name.
Hayden Panettiere, I think. I always say it with the thickest Chicago accent I can. Hayden Panettiere.
She does Kari and all this there. And so now they're getting ready to do 4, and 4 is being recorded and put together now, which should be out in 2025.
Okay.
So they're putting that together now. So I thought, okay, yeah. So I'm getting all excited. So I've been playing those nonstop. And then I've been watching just bits and bobs, really. Nothing too extraordinary. Went to the cinema the first time in 3 years to go see something, and I wasn't very happy about it.
What?
But I get like 2 free cinema tickets now a month through my television package. So they give us 2 free. So I guess the next one I'll probably go see is probably Eli Roth Thanksgiving.
That is next on my list.
Thanksgiving. I didn't even hear that. He made a new movie called.
So he was working on Borderlands, the movie, and apparently when they were wrapping it up, he left the production. They brought in the guy from John Wick. He's going to finish it so that he could do this movie Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving goes back to the movie Grindhouse. There was a fake trailer for a movie called Thanksgiving about a killer. It was a slasher movie about a killer who killed people on Thanksgiving. He dressed up
dressed as a pilgrim.
This is the movie.
Dressed as a pilgrim.
Dressed as a pilgrim. Go see if you could find if you don't have a Grindhouse, a copy of Grindhouse. See if you can find the fake trailer for Thanksgiving, and it might be low quality, but if you get a chance, check out that trailer. This is like that movie come true. This is the.
Why did they do a fake trailer? I mean,
part of the Grindhouse. I mean, they did a fake trailer for.
I don't remember.
Machete started as a fake trailer that aired before Death Proof, or not Death Proof, Planet Terror, and that was a fake trailer that aired before the first half of.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And then they aired an intermission. And then they aired Werewolf Women of the SS. That trailer was done by Rob Zombie.
That sounds like a winner for sure.
It has all the charm and effectiveness of the Munsters teaser. So I warn you of that. It's very, very cheesy. You have Don't, which is a brilliant trailer cut by Edgar Wright. It is a wonderful, wonderful tribute to classic British horror movies.
Oh no shit! Okay, I'll do some. Everybody's left me this weekend, so I got.
And then the last one, which was the biggest crowd pleaser, was Thanksgiving, where it's just a person going nuts and killing people on Thanksgiving. And the joke is everything that he did in those fake trailers ended up in those movies. So I'm still wondering if maybe they'll get back Michael Biehn to stick his finger in the blood. Taste the blood. It's blood. Son of a bitch. I just want that.
I'll have to check it out.
Oh, it's great. But yeah, Thanksgiving. I'm with you on that, Keith. I want to see that.
I saw this ridiculous movie called Thanksgiving. It was somebody probably had their iPhone and made a movie with it. First thing, all you see is boobs. Huge boobs. First thing. Straight off the bat. It's like, okay. It's going to be one of these. No downside for the guys.
I kind of wish they'd make a movie of Don't.
Don't. Of all the trailers, that was the one I wanted the most. At Thanksgiving, I knew that would get made eventually, but Don't. That had a lot of charm.
And Thanksgiving, the thing I remember the most is the guy who gets cooked as a turkey and he's dressed as a turkey and he's naked and he looked like a turkey until you look really close and you realize it's a dead guy. A naked dead guy.
I'm gonna find this.
Oh, there was I think somebody was giving her boyfriend, a woman was giving her boyfriend a blowjob, and then she looks up and realizes his head's been cut off. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff.
Damn,
it's crazy.
Or the girl jumping on the trampoline with a knife underneath, and
the knife pops up through the She's doing the splits. This is all the Thanksgiving trailer.
The fake one, the fake trailer.
Oh my God! And they made the movie out of this finally.
Yeah.
I hope. Oh my God! I just remember the last shot of that trailer. God, I hope that's not in the movie. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, see it, Vicky. Please watch
I'll
this.
find it.
I'll find it. You'll love it. So what else is going on with you, Keith?
And not a lot really outside of that. I'm rewatching Mr. Mercedes because I stopped. I forgot to watch season 2, and I know that they made the last one now. So I've gone back and rewatched season 1. So now I'm in the middle of season 2. So I'm going to finish that off. And that's not. I don't have a lot. I had the week off, and I went to see the Disney's 100 plus exhibition.
Oh, you were telling me about that before.
Which is excellent, actually. I give it a lot of kudos. I mean, it had some of the animatronics from Disney parks. It had the animatronics for Pete's Dragon that we're covering as well. It had
so cool.
Silly Symphonies. They had some of the original artwork about the pencil drawings and the concepts, and but they also has a lot of really interesting interactive stuff. Like they had the Sleeping Beauty storybook that they used in the filming of the beginning, and then next to it they had the one that you could open up, and as you opened it up, it opened up the thingies, and when you look on the screen, it all become animated. Every time you turn a page, it would become animated.
Oh shit, that's so
cool. And you could skip like 5 pages ahead of time because I was like just testing it. It's like, how does this work? And you could as soon as you turn to the page, the sound and the bird or whatever. So that was very clever. And of course, you have a lot of Mickey Mouse stuff and how Disney developed Technicolor, how Disney developed stereophonic sound, how Disney developed surround sound before anyone did. So it's quite interesting from that point of view, and the rotoscoping, and so yeah, that's quite fun. And we went there for 10 o'clock, and I think we finished there, took about 3 hours walking around through it.
Sounds like a good time.
So that was well worth it. Apparently it's going to be in Dallas in April. Same thing.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll go check it out.
Posting it again. So, but yeah, it was well worth it, and they had some stuff in there for children to do with stuff like that. So as a family, luckily we went during the week.
I'll have to take Asher to that. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, and he had some Pixar stuff well represented. Star Wars, all the Star Wars costumes are all there. All the Marvel costumes are there as well. So I mean, that's one good thing about Disney buying these things, and the Muppets are all there, so you see like everything nowadays. So,
they own the world at this point.
Yeah. They didn't used to own the Muppets, did they?
Yeah, they own the Muppets.
They
never used to own the Muppets, though. That was an acquired thing.
I want to say it was like 2007, 2005, something like that. It was the mid 2000s that they acquired the Muppets. Yeah. I want to say, but yeah, they don't own the Jim Henson Studio or the Muppet Workshop. Sesame Street is completely separate. I know that.
Somebody needs to make a horror movie out of Fraggle Rock. I don't care. It would be so good.
I mean, to be honest, they did bring the Muppets back from the dead, so I will give them that.
Yes, they did.
That Jason Segel movie is fantastic. I love it. To this day. If you need a comfort film, that is a great modern comfort film. Is that Muppet movie?
And I didn't realize who wrote the music for it.
Oh yeah,
the guys who did Flight of the Conchords. I love Flight of the Conchords. We're watching that, and we're watching the TV series What We Did in the Shadows, because the new one's coming out, so I'm catching up on that as well.
Oh, that didn't come out yet, right? The fourth one's coming out though soon, isn't it?
Fifth one I think is coming out.
I think it's the fifth one, yeah, but it's coming out soon.
And it's now been signed for a sixth one now as well. The sixth.
I won't even get up and take a pee for that. Those are so good. That's some of the best documentary stuff I've seen on film ever.
The female vampire, she lives. I didn't realize that she lives a couple blocks up the street from me.
Oh, no kidding.
Who?
The female vampire in What We Do in the Shadows.
Really?
Yeah. She's English. I mean, they're all English, but one of them was New Zealander, but they're all English. I was like, oh my God, she lives right. Walk down the street.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you were talking about In the Shadows, the documentary about the.
No, this is What We Do in the Shadows about the vampires who live in a house chair.
I don't think I've started seeing. I don't even think we.
Oh, you gotta watch it. It's one of
the
best shows ever.
What's it called again? I'm always looking for something.
What We Do in the Shadows.
We do Netflix.
No, it's on
I think
Disney.
it's on who. It's
Or
on
Fox.
Hulu or Disney.
Hulu, yeah, Hulu for us, yeah.
Yeah, because it's Fox, isn't it?
Yeah,
Wonder
it's an
why
FX.
that's so
It's on
different.
FX in the States, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll check it out. That looks good.
So, but you probably want to see first is probably the movie
Yeah.
first, What We Did in the Shadows, which is a documentary about these vampires who live in New Zealand in a house share.
Oh shit. Okay, I love vampire stuff. Oh yeah.
But it's a total piss take, but it's really
It's
funny.
hilarious. It's
Okay.
absolutely hysterical.
And like even like without giving too much away, once you in the first season, they have to go to this tribunal of the Council of Vampires.
Council of Vampires,
I
yes.
had all the famous vampires there. It's got Tilda Swinton and Paul Rubens from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and all dressed in their vampire gear. Blade, Wesley Snipes is there, but he couldn't make it.
Oh really? No shit.
Then they start arguing. Wait, he kills us. Why is he here?
Oh my god, I so will watch that.
Tom and Brad couldn't make it because they're too big for us now. Interview with a vampire.
What is Rob coming? Rob's trying to move on from this sort of thing. Oh, okay. Rob's not. We understand. Rob's not going to make it.
Yeah.
Rob's not coming.
Yeah, they're all playing their character. Their frame as they're all playing their vampires, but they're all going by their real names. So
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds riot.
But yeah, it's really weird. I mean, it's one of the best shows ever. That and I mean, because what I'm doing now is watching Flight of the Conchords, watching 2 episodes of that, then watching 2 episodes of What We Did, because they can actually complement each other really well. Because I love Flight of the Conchords as well. That's so funny. So, but
Check it out.
But other than that, not a lot going on my side of the world. And unfortunately, that brings us to Batman the Animated Series.
Finally. Long-winded we are.
Our first episode we're going to cover is going to be a two-parter. We're going to cover both episodes together, which is Shadow of the Bat, Part 1 and Part 2. I mean, Christopher Gordan is framed for taking bribes from Rupert Thorne. His daughter Barbara pleads with Batman to show up at a rally being put on by the Commissioner's behalf. But when Batman disappears after finding the person behind the frame-up, Barbara takes matters into her own hand as Batgirl. Batman has been captured by Two-Face and his gang, leaving Robin to do the investigating behind Christopher Gordan's framing. However, Robin will find an unusual partner in Batgirl, who is also on the path to clear her father's name, and the information she has uncovered about acting commissioners Gil Mason will help them on their quest. So, Sean, what are your thoughts of Shadow of the Bat, Parts 1 and Part 2?
Shadows of the Bat was a very interesting introduction to the Batgirl character. I don't remember Barbara Gordon being as athletic and acrobatic in previous.
I thought that was kind of cool. That really sets up stuff.
Yeah, it showed
how athletic she was.
They've been having this slight tease underneath that she wants to do more. She sees what's happening with her father. She sees what's going on in her city, and they've been teasing it under the surface in the past couple seasons.
Yeah.
So when it finally did happen, I wasn't shocked. I completely forgot that it started as a Batman cosplay at a fundraiser for her dad.
Oh yeah,
that threw me off a little bit, but when trouble struck, she was able to jump into action the best she could. She didn't succeed. She didn't succeed.
She isn't very seasoned yet, is she?
No, but she was able to be at least acrobatic and athletic enough that she did help.
Older
and bumbled into a victory, so to speak. But yeah, she was. I thought it worked out well, and by the end of the two-parter, she kind of held her own as Batgirl, and kind of, I guess, became part of the squad. Everyone kind of knows who everybody is at this point, which was a little odd.
Did you think that they know who she was?
I don't think they know who she is, but when you see Matches Malone, putting on the cape, getting the costume,
right?
Clearly, she must. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're supposed to assume that pencil thin mustache and him chomping on a matchstick. He looks completely different it's like Clark Kent with glasses off,
right?
Or something. But I don't understand how she doesn't know that Bruce Wayne is Batman. I just, for the life of me, I don't understand.
Well, is this was the episode where who asked her to turn around so they could put their was it Batman was changing?
Well, yes, he just said, "Hey, would you a little privacy?"
Yeah. But I mean, how do you not know it's him? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think
look at that jaw. How many people have that square lantern jawline in that city? For crying out!
I think they know that she knows because at the end of it, when Commissioner Gordan becomes cleared and he's the Bat family, whatever, and she's hugged, before she goes and gets hugged by her dad, Batman sits there and says, "Is like, welcome to the family," or something along those lines.
There's more room for somebody, but I really
and then she comments on it. So I'm thinking to myself, like, they must know each other then.
Maybe, or they're hinting that they know.
They're hinting that they know. It felt like it was ambiguous enough that I didn't know if they were just musing out loud and they're talking to themselves. I don't know if they were talking to each other.
Yeah, Kid Help was a little side soliloquy going on action. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's only because when he says that, she comments.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it kind of threw me there, because it's like, normally it's like Dick and Bruce are having their conversations, and it doesn't seem like anyone else, they can say whatever they want. No one comments on what they're saying. It's
that's true.
Where she does comment on it. So that's why I
kind of like the part where Robin gets upset because he doesn't want her there. Kind of like she's in his way. And he's getting all misogynistic on her. Like, just like, let men do the job.
Just a jealous lover, that Robin. Jeez.
Yeah. Do you think they I almost got kind of like a tension between them? Like they kind of liked each other, kind of sort of. But
honestly, I think that he has replacement issues. He constantly, and it plays throughout the series eventually. I mean, he's going to become Nightwing.
Right.
Batman gets a new Robin. Right. He moves on. He definitely is getting to the point where, he wants more. I mean, this is the original Robin, it's Dick Grayson. He's gonna need more.
Yeah, he's getting
old. I can't imagine him sitting on the sidelines for long, just being the sidekick, because he's really ambitious. You could tell. He's just a young man wanting to make, his way in the world.
But I did like Matches Malone. I thought that was a nice the pseudonym of Bruce Wayne when he's going into the criminal underworld, chomping on a match, with a pencil thin mustache. But I did find it weird though. He survived a Harvey Dent coin toss. Harvey.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It came up not in his favor, but rather than getting executed, he got bashed with the butt of a gun and then taken to the exact person that you probably don't want, someone that you suspect of being a cop or anyone that could help you. Probably don't want to take him to your secret commissioner that you have on the mob payroll. But that's what they did. They took him immediately to the guy that the mob boss, and eventually Robin and Batgirl saved the day. But
it's really about, who would think that Gordan is on the take, though? That guy is just like such a
It was pencil thin. It was pencil thin, and as soon as they arrested him, I believe it was for bribery, I immediately knew that this new upstart commissioner, before he ducked before the podium, like, oh, it's this guy. Clearly, because he wants his job. There's no other reason why. It has to be this guy. It's Scooby-Doo logic. But at the same time, it's I don't know. I thought that this was a solid two-parter. It definitely, when it ended at the first part, it definitely it was a decent cliffhanger on a couple of fronts, because you had the coin toss, as well as whether or not I think Gordan was going to get killed or something. It was a solid two-parter.
I enjoyed it a lot, though, because I really thought they needed a woman's touch eventually. You got all this massive testosterone and crime fighting, and finally you got this little athletic red-haired girl, that comes in there and starts kicking ass. I really enjoy her, and I didn't know it was Melissa Gilbert until I saw the credits. And I go, oh, my God, I knew that voice. Sometimes I don't look to see who the voice is, because I try to figure out who it is, because we always know the main characters, but when you get the female voices in there, she's really quite good, as a voice makeover person. So I thought that was pretty cool that she was involved in it. I just thought she was a refreshing character that they finally add, because any of us that are old enough to remember the Batmans, with Adam West and stuff, like Batgirl is like, well, most people that had brothers, they used to watch it because of Batgirl, because look at the outfit she had on back then, right down to the bullet bra. So everybody liked that stuff. The boys were happy. I just like watching
Yvonne
the
DiCarlo
women
was a
crime
lovely lady.
fighter. I just like seeing her hold her own.
Elvis
So
Presley's girlfriend.
Oh yeah, the purple outfit with the cone thing.
Yeah, because Yvonne Craig was dating Elvis Presley.
Van Craig, excuse me. Yeah.
Dating Elvis.
Everybody needs a bullet
Everybody was
bra.
married to Priscilla, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Was he dating her?
Yeah.
Yeah, he dated. Yeah.
No shit, I didn't know that.
And she got cast right out of Kissing Cousins.
No kidding. I did not know they were dating at all. I never heard that.
Yeah, they dated. So and then
No kidding.
they did Kissing Cousins, and that came out, and they said that she filmed well, so they cast her as Batgirl to help bring failing viewership to Batman. So let's bring back.
She was a cute
beginning of season 3. Yeah.
She was packaged quite well.
I mean, I think they did Batgirl quite well here because they made her. First of all, I mean, I love Yvonne Craig as Batgirl, and I have that memory watching the old Batman series. But I mean, it was camp as Christmas. There was no meat on her bones, and basically, she basically pulled. I think she pulled the lampshade, and the brick wall would turn around, and there'd be a little bat makeup counter. So, and for her to get this. I think this series actually, with this introduction to her, gives her a bit of gravitas as well, because she's not whiny, but she's not annoying. So she's typing that really fine line that they have difficulty when they do introduce a new superhero or anything like that can fall. TV series of Batwoman. She's fucking annoying. That's the reason why no one watched it. Situation where they kind of introduced her, and I think they did really clever because they kind of like brought her in. So the scene, her has the scene here, scene there as the episodes come through. So when she does come in, it's like, and you can understand it situation, and and then it's not led because she wants to be a superhero. It's led through frustration of trying to help her father, and no one's listening to her, and there's no help there. And that's how it becomes born, and I quite like that. But she's also brains as well. She's not a. And even when she has some quick quips, to Robin and stuff like this, but they're not done in a malicious, horrible way. They're like kind of done in a playful way. So they've really done a very good well of introducing this character into this universe, because I think in unlikely hands it could have failed miserably.
Well, she's not unbelievable at all, though, and she does hold her own. And I thought they handled it quite well, and I liked the interaction between her and Robin, Dick Grayson, whatever, because he was kind of offended that she was there a little bit, but he kind of needed the help. So at least when he realized, hey, she ain't so bad, all well that ends well. But I thought it was kind of funny how they had that tension going on between them.
They had a little flirtatious thing going on, I think, by the end of the episode, and he did land on top of her and was straddling her at one point, which was it's weird now, and after everything
retrospect.
Everything was made out of Joss Whedon directing on the Justice League with that whole scene with Gal Gadot and Ezra Miller. So I'm like, it's just one of the, in hindsight, I'm just like, it's just a thing. They probably it's just a thing that happens. You shouldn't think. But now with that, I'm in the hindsight. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's been going on for 30 years. Nothing new.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun to watch, though. I mean, I got vested in all the characters in this one. I really had a lot of fun watching it. I mean, I didn't even get up at all. I just watched them back to back because I really was so happy to finally see Batgirl after all. I was like, yeah.
It's good to have her as part of the Bat family, and starting to see it expand and grow beyond just Batman and Robin. And hopefully this means that Robin will be making more appearances. I know he's coming up in our next episode, or not today, but in next month's episode. We'll be talking more about him.
Well, wasn't he tied up in college? I mean, he seems to spend a lot of time at college.
That's the thing, and when he's always at college, and it feels, and summer break is when he decides he's going to be a crime fighter. So it's just a matter of when is he going to be
God, I
finished with
wish I could
college.
have been a crime fighter when I was in college, living as a ward in some billionaire's house. I mean, where's the downside?
Well,
Definitely a nice life.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
motorcycles, cars.
considering how he got there, though, maybe not so much, and it's a nice life.
Well, that sucks, that this family.
Hindsight, yeah.
But it does explain why him and Batman are, so good together because they
These are
understand
the same.
each other.
Yeah, they're from the same pod.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's Batman's way or the highway as well. So you have to
Well,
remember.
he is the boss. He signs the checks. So.
Right. Well, this brings us to Blind as a Bat. In the course of stealing a high-tech military aircraft called the Raven, the Penguin injures Bruce Wayne, causing temporary blindness. But Batman refuses to sit back while Penguin holds the city hostage and dons an experimental headset that will allow him to see while the battery holds out. In an intense sky battle that ends with a crash landing, Batman manages to foil the Penguin's scheme, but his faltering gear leaves him blind once more, attempting to hear his way through a violent confrontation with a muscle-bound good and ultimately the foul fiend himself. So, Vicky, what are your thoughts of Blind as a Bat?
Blind as a bat. Well, of course, he gets himself in trouble, where he gets blasted to the face and it messes up his retinas. He's supposed to be a good boy and stay home. But of course, no, he's not staying home for 36 hours and doing what the doctor who knows he's Batman is telling him he needs to stay home, especially because he's Batman. What does he come up with? Some kind of infrared kind of implant thing or on his mask he uses?
He wears a virtual boy.
It's a virtual boy. Okay.
It's a virtual boy.
So
I mean, it's not a literal virtual boy, but the vision, it's like the old Nintendo Virtual Boy. It's like
that. But he must have it hooked up somehow to his brain pan.
Yeah.
To be able to see the way he does. And I thought it was kind of funny. He always needs to recharge. And then he's is losing power. And I think that the Penguin, is being vintage Penguin. He sees, his end where he can start fucking with Batman just a little bit because he sees a weakness. Because clearly there's something wrong. He's going all over the place, reaching his hands out. I really enjoyed this one because it shows, well, Batman always has an alternative. You can't keep a good bat down, I guess, right? And he's always going to come back up fighting. And then towards the end, he still thinks there's something wrong with him, but he can see just fine because he grabs him in the leg hole when he's, looking over the balcony. But I mean, it was all about, what is it, a helicopter? It's like sort of like an Apache helicopter, like a stealth helicopter.
It's a stealth helicopter with the same bat vision capabilities that he has, as well as the ability to be whisper quiet. So it's a perfect Apache helicopter, essentially.
Is basically what it is. Yeah. And so, of course, everybody wants to get their hands on it. I thought this one showed his vulnerability, but it didn't really last long. But he just is he's the true hero. He's always going to bounce back no matter what. He's not going to let anybody get one up on him. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this whole block, actually.
I found it a bit weird for the simple fact that where's Robin?
Yeah, where is Robin? Is he back?
You would think that the one time Robin's needed would be at this point, and it's like he's nowhere,
Actually, there's nobody around to help him.
Where's Batgirl? we just met Batgirl. Where's Batgirl?
Yeah, I mean, as soon as he's got help, all of a sudden there he is, blind as a bat. Nobody there to help him.
Yeah, I can understand maybe the Batgirl because if you're thinking to yourself, is like, well, there's the things there. There's the production coding, the production numbering, and then there's the when it aired numbering. So sometimes there's, sometimes there is a bit of a disconnect there. So, Batgirl, okay, well, chances are she's not that heavily in, so maybe, I guess you could sit there and say since this next episode that they're probably not on to call her for help at any time soon situation.
But you're right.
Robin,
though,
making these episodes, when they were making these episodes, I mean, Sean might know, she's like, you just watch these like forever. Did they know that kind of like in between episodes there seems like there's discrepancies? Is there a reason why?
I think it's just,
is it the way they released them?
Because I think it was just things getting shuffled around. We think that
because on HBO they are not in order. Like where I watch it's on Max, and I have to watch. They do not have them in any semblance of order. I literally have to go in and find them.
In the case of the physical releases, they're all released by production date.
Right.
My Hulu collection from my digital copy from the physical collection, that's by production date as well. I think when they used to air when I was a kid, I remember Fox would have because it was on Fox Kids for me.
Right.
I remember they used to do special blocks for certain months. So it could be we have 4 spookier episodes, so we'll just those out. We'll put them in October. We have, this one is more winter.
So there was a reason why they lumped them in the way.
Yeah, it may have been where they aired. It's just this one we feel this will play better at this time, or hey, we need a certain type of villain to fit in with our theme for the Fox Kids morning. I think, but I don't know. That's
well, it's just sort of like you say. 1 minute he's got help, next minute there's no Robin, no Batgirl. I was just trying to wonder if there was a.
Yeah, there really isn't any rhyme or reason to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be honest, I think when it came to serializing superheroes, that came around more with X-Men and Justice League.
X-Men, Justice League, and Amazing Spider-Man.
Did what? What did they do?
They started serializing it like Buffy, turning into a soap opera situation.
You started having.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
You started having 3-parters, 6-parters.
Those changes will keep on going.
Yeah,
sort of like Vampire Diaries and stuff like that. Gotcha.
But Batman was, they were attempting that, but they didn't really go into it. So
okay, maybe that's why, because it's not like in this, like you say, serial soap opera kind of.
Well, they get better by the time they get to Batman Beyond. That tends to go in more of a serialization. I think here what we got attempting it. That's why you got the 2-parters. That's why everything's not happening in one. So let's see if people come back in the second one. And then another thing is that at this time when it came to animation serials, at this time when this was aired, people used to dip in and dip out.
Yeah,
they were constant.
Okay, I got
Batman, what they found was like people were returning and watching it every single week. So, and I have to remember that when you do an animated series, it's not like doing a television series. You kind of doing everything like a year and a half ahead because all this stuff has to be animated.
Yeah.
And it also has to be sent to Korea to be animated. You write your scripts, you get your voice acting, then and then it has to be animated. So to do a half-hour episode takes a month normally. That's the reason why. And if you think of something like Batman, the reason why Batman is more expensive anyway, because they don't do the repeating of backgrounds. So every background that you see is basically a different background. So as the character's moving point A to point B, the background's changing.
That makes sense.
But if you look at like Scooby-Doo or Fred Flintstone or Hanna-Barbera, when the characters run, that whole background keeps the same background running behind them over and over and over again. So that's probably the reason why so when you got Batman the animated series, that's probably the reason why you have the changes. You have it kind of going in that direction, but not quite there yet.
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering because it looked like the crime, because I have never watched these continuously like y'all have. So I was just like wondering, it's like, well, why is he always alone? And then he has to face all these surmountable obstacles, but there's no help. He's got his trusty butler always, but there's no crime fighting, friend on his hip, so to speak. So
there also seems to be Robin's away at school, but in about 4 episodes, 4 to 6 episodes for now. Well, actually, I think in January, I think we start off the next season, which is the adventures of Batman and Robin. And here we're showing the adventures of Batman. So
Yeah, I know. I guess I probably always like to jump the gun. I like to see them together.
Yeah,
I like the interaction.
So I think that Robin, at this point, I guess you can say that Robin is if this is live action, Robin would just be a guest star that would pop in every once in a while. He hasn't been signed for a full series yet.
Yes,
special guest star Robin. Robin, yeah.
Lauren.
Where is he? Oh, he's not
Lauren.
in this episode.
Something Lauren does the voice of
Robin. According to this,
I'm always amazed at the voices.
I mean, they really pulled it out. I mean, Bob Cummings is Professor Gordan, and and Andrew, Adrienne Barbeau is Catwoman, and
I know they could not have picked a better voice for Catwoman. I mean, she always had a sultry, sexy voice. I remember in The Fog. I mean, just that voice. I just, just her voice was always so sultry.
Let's see. It is cast. Bob. No, it's Lauren Lester.
That's it.
Lauren Lester. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But you always got Alfred Pennyworth. Always there. He's always there. He's so static. It's not even funny.
Thankfully, he had Leslie Tompkins with him as well, because with Leslie there, she was able to help with the technology. He didn't trust anybody with that. When he went blind. So it's.
I like Leslie Tompkins. She's
a good reoccurring character. Yeah.
It's like, and that's it's that supporting thing, and I like that addresses, like, when he gets hurt or something happens and he needs medical attention, that there is someone there. He's not.
Wasn't Alfred dating the doctor in an episode before they went on vacation?
No, that was someone else.
No, it was a different woman. Yeah,
that was next door neighbor.
Yeah,
poor Alfred. He doesn't ever get a date. There's a bunch of elderly women running around in this series, but Alfred don't get none.
I mean, Alfred's life is dedicated to Bruce Wayne and Batman. And so, and since if Bruce doesn't get a day off, he doesn't get a day off. So
that's true. Well, Bruce is is he supposed to be a playboy, Bruce Wayne, or is that a facade, or is he kind of a playboy? Because I know in the movies he's interested, in other women. He doesn't ever really seem to last, But they say he's a playboy, kind of, sort of.
The Batman is the real person, and Bruce Wayne facade.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
I was trying to figure out where it was. Well, I mean, he's supposedly,
he has to keep. I mean, to be honest, you got to remember that his family kind of built Gotham, and at the same time, he is the head of a international company, so he has to show his face. So he shows his face in this capacity, but I don't think he spends I think he's one of these company directors who never shows up at the office very often.
Doesn't appear to be. Just must be nice to be filthy rich.
Basically shows up at the the stock, the board of the directors meeting once a year, and that's
right.
There's
always something going on at Wayne Technologies, though. They're always building some kind of crazy something.
That's the thing. He's more hands-on with the tech division than anything. He's more hands-on in this iteration of him, and I'd say maybe the Schumacher films. Everything else kind of plays him as an aloof playboy, not really paying attention. The Burton movies, aside from a boardroom meeting with Christopher Walken, there is no mention of Wayne Industries, none of that whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. Did you think about? Well, there was a couple times with Walken in that. What was his character in that? I can't remember.
Max Schreck.
Yeah, what a nut job. Could they have picked a better person for that movie? Oh my God.
I love him in that movie so much. But yeah, he in that movie, if you think about it, Wayne Industries really isn't a thing until Batman Forever. And they incorporated Edward Nygma as a former employee who got fired, and it all works within the sense of the story. And
how much do you think the cartoons weigh in on the movies?
I think it definitely influenced, because they did the Burton movies. Burton was doing his own thing. I think at the end of the day, the studios and Warner Brothers, they just saw toys. They just saw toys. They saw money through toys.
Saw merch.
Yeah, and through the animated series, we have a lot more colorful characters that we could use, that we can market to children, that we can and we could just sell, sell, sell. So I think that the animated series opened up the toy chest a little bit more for them to exploit.
Right.
But in terms of, yeah, I don't think it did more than that, because in terms of stories, we started talking about Arkham more. We started introducing Poison Ivy. We started,
True.
but other than that, and Bane. But other than that, it was relatively safe. They didn't
I like
expand.
Poison Ivy and Harley. Those
I
are
like
so good. I love those cartoons.
Poison Ivy and Harley are fantastic together.
They are. I don't care what anybody says. I fucking love it.
But Harley didn't. I mean, Harley never got her chance in live action until I think a one-off episode of Arrow. That was her first appearance in live action, and then they didn't really do anything with her until Margot Robbie took it over. And I think
Can't
the
go
only reason
wrong with Margot Robbie in anything.
she's amazing as the role, and honestly, I can't really see anyone else as that role aside from her.
Somebody was talking about that. I watched some interview. I can't remember what I was watching. I'm not, like I said, I'm not on top of my game today. They were talking about doing somebody else other than Margot Robbie for that part. And I go, no, revolt. Revolt.
I get you want a clean break. I get you need a clean break from everything in the past, but don't get rid of her.
They might.
Not that.
To be honest, though, they might get Hugo Weaving's sister.
Oh, Rachel Weaving. So that's
I gotta look this one up.
Begins with an S.
So Samara Weaving. Samara Weaving. That's Hugo Weaving's sister. Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
So they might get her.
Oh God, she looks just like her. I always get those two confused as it is.
There is talk of her taking that over, and she probably could do it.
She would be good. She would be good.
She could do it. She could do it. She's a great actress too, actually. Yeah. You know, I've always interchanged those two. I always take one for the other. They look alike. They just do.
They do.
But they're both beautiful women.
But I do think that Batman the Animated Series, I think, made more of an impact on the comic books.
Yes.
Than the movies.
Than the movies did.
I mean, Harley Quinn was birthed in the animated series, was actually birthed into her comic book series, and she started being added in the comic books. The way that some of the like the Two-Face and Mr. Freeze, their stories or origin stories became lore in the comic book series after the animated series. So they kind of had like this thing where they're like intermelding together. So, and the films, I mean, let's be honest, the Batman films are very problematic in itself anyway, because
of the continuity, or
Batman's whole being is, and he mentions in the next episode that he doesn't kill anyone,
right?
And the Batman films are all about him killing people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially you get Ben Affleck in there, and it starts.
He kills the Joker, and Michael Keaton kills the Joker.
Yeah,
he kills Christopher Walken.
He shoves a bomb down a guy's pants and pushes him into a sewer.
Yeah. That's true.
He's a cold-blooded murderer.
That's true. I forgot about that.
The Joel Schumacher films, Batman's killing people all the way through them.
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan. He's murdering people as going along. Even the new Batman film with.
I never even thought of that until you just brought that up, because the next episode,
the Pattinson one, he didn't kill anyone yet, but he is much more vicious in terms of his brutality.
Yeah.
So you could definitely see possibly if they ever do let the Joker out of the asylum, that he'll probably push him a little too far, or try to push him too far.
And that's the thing about Batman, is that he has this code of honor, and that's the reason why they have to have Arkham Asylum, because he catches them and he puts them in there, and they get back out, and he puts them in there because he does believe in the law. That's why he's not really a vigilante, because at the same time he might be acting like a vigilante, but at the same time he's only capturing them, and then they have to go through the law system, and whatever happens there is not, is not part of him. So in effect, he's not really a vigilante. He just catches the people, and then he's basically a bounty hunter, really, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, I can
So,
see that.
you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to his silicone soul. When Batman Impersonator appears in Gotham City, the real Batman deduces that Carl Ransom is somehow involved and confronts the inventor. The other Batman, a duplicate, then shows up at a battle between the two takes place. After duplicate Batman escapes, it begins his campaign to recapture Hardak, goals of a robotic society. So, Sean, what are your thoughts of his silicone soul?
Hardak. That was a name that I had forgotten about.
What does Hardak stand for?
Oh God, what?
I'm gonna look. I'll look it up.
I have the anagram right in front of me. Hardak. Here we are.
Artificial.
Hardak, a holographic analytical reciprocating digital computer.
Sounds like stuff we got now, like AI and all kinds of weird shit coming to plague us in our life.
That was the thing that struck me the most about this episode, because I did dig this one a lot, and I think the reason I did is I started thinking about just the ramifications if essentially a Terminator had all the knowledge of Batman and all the contingency plans to take down every single member of the Justice League and all that stuff. That is a horrifying thought. It'd be like just somebody with that much power. The one flaw in Hardak's problem is Batman doesn't kill. And that's the one thing that saved everybody's life, is the fact that does not compute. I just killed and causes full system shutdown. But and he ended up blowing himself up by destroying the Bat computer. But the one thing the contingency plan of Hardak after downloading the Bat computer in Hardak's last appearance was to make one last bot and make it a bat bot. That just seemed that's a great Trojan horse.
Is Hardak a bad company? Were they a bad company? Bad hands or
no? Hardak was just an artificial intelligence run amok. It was creating duplicates of people to integrate itself into society.
So the computer kind of took over.
Yeah, the computer took over,
like a war games computer.
Yeah, it's like war games with the ability to mass produce Terminators. Is the best way I can describe it. So they were taking like Commissioner Gordan and a few other people. They were taking them hostage and replacing them with these duplicates.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a body snatchers type of situation,
right?
And they eventually destroyed they had to destroy the system, because the system figured out, wait, Bruce Wayne is Batman. It broke it. It managed to get into the Bat computer, and as a result, it learned all of Batman's secrets. So it decided, well, I'm going to take all this infinite knowledge that I've learned through this and put it in one last contingency, and just in case, because it looks like I'm probably going to be destroyed right now. And that contingency was in the form of a Batman robot. Which,
I can get it to work. I know this time it'll work. Yeah.
Well, it worked a little too well, because it thought it really did. It was like that horrible Terminator movie with Tom with the guy from Avatar. What the hell is it called? Terminator Salvation. It's he wakes up and just doesn't realize, your metal robotic guts are hanging out. What do you mean I'm a robot? It's his.
Yeah.
Clearly, somebody has put my brain in a robot. Which I thought was funny, but
so I mean, basically, that would be a feat, though. I mean, now that you've got AI, I suppose consciousness is not too far behind for a machine.
Well, I quite like Batman the computerized. I felt sorry.
Well, he was still a good guy. I mean, he wasn't a bad guy.
It's only when he was looking to repair himself that he actually fell onto it. So if he didn't have to repair himself, Batman could have gone on holiday and left him to do the job and then come back, and you know what I mean? It's like he would have worked out. It's only because he got shot, so therefore he had to fix himself. So that
When they
leaves him,
sprayed water on him.
well, that leaves him the hard act, and of course, in order to fix himself, he has to reboot, and they have to, put the chip in his head, which causes which causes him to go bad, really. But if he didn't have to do that, if he wasn't injured, he'd be fine.
Yeah.
Just kind of sad, and he doesn't understand those around him, and
I felt bad for the robot Batman because he was basically good. He didn't understand why he was in this entity that he had become. So it kind of made me. I felt bad for it actually because you're right. Wake up! I'm a machine. I'm not a human.
I have that feeling of when you look at it's called his Silicon Soul, but it also reminds you of Blade Runner.
Yeah,
kind of.
That
absolutely.
Runner,
well, the whole duplicate. I was calling them replicants while watching it. I can't. It's immediately where my brain went to. I think they were calling them duplicates or whatever. But it is definitely evocative of Blade Runner in terms of just the humanity that's exuding from this robot, and it goes throughout to the point that and maybe it's just the power of Batman and how strong of Batman's mind is, because that's what was scanned, that's what was put in there, and all the data from the Bat computer. It's just whatever, it worked too well, because as soon as
the code,
as soon as you broke that code, well, that causes a fatal error. And
I also liked the special animation that they done with once robot Batman is gone or finished, and then Batman takes his skin and puts it over his half of Bruce Wayne face over to make him look a bit more human.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite a nice little touch there.
Because basically that's
most animation of this time. Well, most animation this time they just wouldn't bother. They're like, okay, when he would say his pun, and it'd be the end of the series. But it's like someone took loving care to sit there and put that in there, which probably took about 3 days to to draw that into there like that or whatever.
That long.
It takes a long time to do animation.
It does take a long time, yeah.
And this is the black animation too. And you guys were trying to explain that to me. Somebody else who listens to this podcast, maybe
basically, okay. If you look at Secret of Nymph, for instance, Secret of Nymph was done on acetates, and which are clear acetates, and they would put those on a light box. So that's the reason why when you see all the lights coming through and all the bright colors, that's that. In Batman the Animated Series, what they use is black paper. So basically, black is your negative space. So what you do is you have to draw the positive,
the color on top of the negative.
Precisely.
Oh, so interesting.
So that's what gives you there. But at the same time, you have to take everything that you learned in animation and kind of reverse it on itself about your color principle.
Quite clever.
So,
and it really has quite a different look to it. I mean, if you look at the Batman cartoons as opposed to any other cartoons, it's quite unusual. Even today, even though they're 20, 30 years later,
in January when Batman comes back for another season, we kind of get a whole new look that comes to it, which we'll get into.
The whole new look. Yeah, well, I haven't got that here yet, so eventually. Sometimes I get ahead of myself.
That'll be a conversation in itself, because I'm not too.
Well, Sean's got a knowing look. Well, I'll be that.
I'm not too happy with the new look, but we'll see.
A lot of people weren't happy with the new look.
They weren't happy with it. I see there's a different look to the Batman. The next.
We're entering the phase
there's a difference.
Where it's definitely we've already hit the peak, and it's not saying the quality is going bad or anything like that, but in terms of you could tell the budget is starting to.
They're losing steam.
They're losing a little bit of steam, but that was the case for all.
That happens. So those are growing pains with any show or series.
Most of the animated series.
I don't know how you beat this one.
Most of the animated series at this time, it was your budget's only as strong as the toys that you sell.
Right.
Fortunately, Batman did sell a lot of toys, so that helped. But I think
it still does. There's Batman merch everywhere.
I have to sit there and say that when it gets its new look, and the new toy line comes out, they're not as good as the old toy line.
They're not near as good.
Everything.
I imagine y'all got collector's items in your houses. I know Sean does.
I have 3 Batman figures, and they're all the Adam West series. I got an Egghead, I got a Frank Gorshin Riddler, and I got a Joker. That's it.
Oh my God, you got all that. So you got the Egghead even too.
I saw the egghead in the store. I immediately bought it for Joe. I'm like, he's the biggest Vincent Price.
Oh, that's right. You did buy Joe an egghead. Okay.
And I figured, I'm like, all right, why not? Put him on top.
Yeah. No, the only thing I got is a Batmobile, and that came with the Blu-ray Batman original series box set. And then I got Batman the animated series booklets written by Paul Denny about the making of the series and stuff.
Blu-ray still messes with me because like people's peach fuzz on their face, it just looks like they need to shave. They got something. I don't.
That's the thing. You could see the makeup. You could see when they have scars. You could see
all the imperfections,
the adhesive and everything. You can see the glue that holding it on.
Yes. Oh my god.
Watching an old episode of Star Trek on Blu-ray, it's so horrible.
It's traumatizing.
It is. But there is some charm to it, though. I mean, there is a lot of charm to it, and I can look past it because I realize, it's just a product of the time. Can I just enjoy
I'll look past it. I can look past it, but I notice it.
It works very well on animation Blu-ray.
Yes. It doesn't work as well. I mean, Jaws, you could tell the shark is a robot.
Clearly tell. Clearly.
I mean, Joe and I always joke about the opening shot where the camera goes right up the woman.
Seen it.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's the shark.
We knew she was naked. We just didn't know how naked she was doing the scene. But we know she's full-fledged naked.
But I mean, there's that you can tell. There's other ones. I think Scarface to this day is still one of my better looking ones. Scarface and watching
the first Batman with Michael Keaton. I watched it on Blu-ray. Freaked me out because I could see that the cape was animated. Like when you're looking down and he's doing something, you could see him turn. You could tell it's animated cape. It's just animated. You could tell. It just bothers me sometimes. I don't know why, because I couldn't tell before. So honestly, I don't care if I watch Blu-ray or I don't. I do like the quality, but sometimes the detail, especially when you got a big flat screen TV, you can see everything now. You know,
that's true.
I mean, I think the worst thing you can see on Blu-ray is a Ray Harryhausen film.
A what?
A Ray Harryhausen film, unfortunately.
Oh.
Clash of the Titans.
I was just thinking Clash of the Titans. Oh, God.
I have not seen that on Blu-ray. Is it really horrible?
Yeah, unfortunately it is. To be honest, it's probably the only movie I can sit there and say that looks best in pen and scan.
When they do restorations for films like this, they need to have a special care. They shouldn't just let the AI do it. They need to actually put the work into it because and almost remaster
Blu-ray though. Jason Argonauts works okay. Jason Argonauts is already good on Blu-ray. I'll give it that one. Which you would think that the 80s Clash of the Titans would be better than the 1960s Jason and the Argonauts.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Hamlin.
Was it Jason and the Argonauts? Is that the one with the skeletons, or is that?
Yes.
That's one with the skeletons. I love that scene. That's so epic.
Clash of the Titans is the one with Medusa.
Perseus and Medusa, Pegasus.
Yeah. Okay. God, that was such a good scene too. And what is it like? Really make you anal when you're watching it now on Blu-ray?
Let's put it this way: you can really see the blue screen, very much so. Like when you saw, it's kind of weird because even when I got it on DVD and I saw because I used to love it. I mean, I used to be on HBO all the time,
right?
Over and over and over. I mean, I've seen it so many times, and that was pan and scan.
The Harry Hamlin Clash of the Titans.
Yeah. And so when it came out on DVD and in widescreen, I bought a copy of it because I thought this is gonna be fantastic. I'll finally get to see it in its ratio. I was
now
in Blu-ray it's even worse. So DVD only put it in its in its ratio.
Some films, I mean, they're just like that. I mean, it doesn't matter when you cut off this. It's a shame because you see the effects and the remastering for movies today, and they just don't hold up. Joe and I were watching Double Impact, the Van Damme movie where he plays his own twin brother.
Yeah.
When he's on screen,
they're so cheesy, but they're good.
You could see, and on Blu-ray, you can see the blue screen and whatnot on certain shots. But there's others that you're looking at, and they're talking to each other, and it looks just as good as anything, if not a little bit better than some of the stuff I see today. So it's one of those. That movie is a trip too.
Disney tends to do it. Disney tends to pay a particular attention to their Blu-raying for
Yes.
like Mary Poppins. As you see, there's not that big disconnect. To be honest, they've somehow made it so Mary Poppins is in the animation. They kind of it's not.
So there is a way to do it without doing it, without
you
seeing
you
like that blue screen behind or every little thread or.
you have to go through every single frame and do it digitally. So you have to go through every frame of the film and able to do it.
Wow. I can see why they want AI to do it. That's just.
And it costs money, but to be honest, if you're dealing with, I mean, I can understand not doing it with like, I don't know, Mr. Limpet, the incredible Mr. Limpet. I can understand not doing it for that. But if you got a classic movie that is classic, then maybe you need to take the care in that.
Makes
That's probably
sense.
one of the reasons why they don't do Seven Faces of Dr. Lao in Blu-ray. Because
Oh my God. They put that they didn't Blu-ray that one, did they?
no, because George Pal's family said you can't Blu-ray it unless you spend the money on it.
Because that would be a nightmare. I mean, if they didn't do it right, I mean, think of all the just all the stuff in that movie.
I'm hoping Criterion will pick it up and do something with it because I love that film. But we'll see. Well, let's discuss our favorite episode and our least favorite episode. Well, let's just say our favorite episode because I don't think there's a least favorite in this series.
There's no least favorite episode.
Yeah, there's no least favorite. They're all solid ones.
What's your favorite episode in this block, Vicky?
I like Batgirl. I liked them all, but I really liked the introduction of Batgirl. It was fun, and it was nice to see her finally show up.
And what about yourself, Sean?
Definitely Shadow of the Bat, the two-parter with Batgirl. It was a fun introduction to Batgirl, fun introduction to the character. It's good to have her a part of the team. It's good to see the team growing. And also Matches Malone is my new favorite side character for Bruce Wayne.
Oh my God, yeah, with the little
Matches
mustache. And, yeah. I would have never known it was Bruce.
Oh no. That mustache, makes all the worlds a difference.
Yes, it did.
I think my favorite is Shadow of the Bat, though I have a special place for his silicone soul because I did feel something for the robot for some reason. I actually felt like, I felt a tinge of emotion there, so I thought that was good. And the Shadow of the Bat, I guess is my favorite because I kind of wondering, did Batgirl get to see Bruce Wayne naked? We'll never know.
She turned her back, or he told her to turn around.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, if he didn't tell her to turn around, she would just sat there and just stared.
Well, he probably has a nice set of animated buttocks.
She's got a thing for muscle, let's put it that way. Well, this brings us to the end of the Literary License podcast. Our next episodes for Batman next month, which will be December, will be The Demon's Quest Part 1 and Part 2, Fire from Olympus, and Read My Lips. And of course, we'll be continuing our November month of programming with our Dark Families, which will be covering the film The Breadwinner from 2017, which is based on the best-selling novel by Deborah Ellis. And it deals with a woman going through womanhood in Iraq. And of course, we'll be covering Eli Ross's 2018 family film, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, starring Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. And we will be continuing our anthology series of 2 cat features, The Uncanny from 1977 and Cat's Eye from 1985, also known as Stephen King's Cat's Eye. And Doctor Who will be continuing with the Time Meddler and Galaxy 4 storylines, which began in the 3rd of July to the 2nd of October, 1965. And December, we'll be interrupting our programming with our Christmas programming, which will be Book to Screen, which will be Once Upon a Time. We'll be covering Anti-Mame by Patrick Dennis and the 1958 film Anti-Mame starring Rosalind Russell. So it's good night for myself and good night, Vicki.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Sean.
Good night, everyone.
And we'll see you next week for The Breadwinner and the house with the clock in its walls.
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner. But she always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a winner. She's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady. Talking about that little lady. And the lady is mine. But she's never in the way. Always something nice to say. What a blessing. I can leave her on her own, knowing she's okay alone and there's no messing. She's a lady. Oh, she's a lady. Talking about that little lady. And the lady is mine. Though she never asks very much, and I don't refuse her. Always treat her with respect. I never would abuse her. What she's got is hard to find, and I don't want to lose her. Help me build a mountain from a little pile of clay. But she knows what I'm about. She can take what I dish out, and that's not easy. But she knows me through and through, and she knows just what to do and how to please me.